Maybe. Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Oh, hang on a second here. Got a little darkness going on. Let's see if I can fix that. There we go. A little bit brighter. There we go. All right. Hello, hello, everybody. Let me know that you can see and hear me okay. Welcome to our Monday night SoulPet. It is so nice to see you guys here. Oh, we got a lot of people here already. Hang on a second here. We'll just going to scroll back to the top and oracle cards. We're talking oracle cards. All right, hang on a second. Let's do a quick introduction before we get into all the comments and saying hello to everybody. So my name is Elaine. For those of you who may be catching me for the very first time, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us here. This is the SoulPet channel. It's the Animal Reiki Lady channel. That's how I started it as, but it's really developed into this beautiful SoulPet community. So my name's Elaine. I'm an Animal Reiki master, chaplain, and medium. Everything I do is centered around animal companions, and this particular channel is dedicated to helping people who are working through pet loss, who are working through the grief and the guilt of having an animal companion cross to the other side. And on this channel, we talk about all kinds of things. We offer each other support. You'll find that there's a wonderful community here. I can already see all the great people. I can't wait to say hello. And also, we sometimes get a little hairy-fairy, right? We take a little trip down the rabbit hole and talk about some of those metaphysical things and the way that we are connected to our animal companions still on the other side. And we go even deeper than that when we start talking about things like we're going to talk about tonight, a little bit about reincarnation. Kali, I think that you are here. Let me just scroll through because Kali, is that? I wish that we could just have names instead of all these tags, like Pat. Pat, so easy. So let's start with Pat's oracle cards and let's say hello to everybody first. All right, hello, Pat. And for those of you watching this on the replay, know that you can always scroll ahead a minute or two. We take the first couple minutes just to get comfortable and to get into the groove and kind of find our groove. So Pat, hello, hello. Kali, hello. Lauren, hello. Sherry, great to see you here. Who do we have also? Then I'll get to the comments. I love to talk about oracle cards. And you guys know some of my favorites. Kathy, awesome to see you. Z, hello, hello. And I thought I saw Jody, but maybe I didn't. Maybe, all these weeks run together. Magnificent Sales, good to see you. Caroline, how are you, hon? Pamela, good to see you. Interesting. My niece's last name is Huff. You never know. Could be related. So I'm going to read some comments first. Hello, Patricia. Good to see you guys. All right. So it is great. First of all, hello to all my channel members. Those of you who are absolute channel members, I always love to give you a shout out. I always love to do something a little extra special for you. And that includes a little reading tonight for Potato. I have mentioned that I do these little readings. So for those of you who maybe there's a couple people whose names I don't recognize right away. I like to do little readings. That is, I have found that I am able to connect with animals on the other side of life. I spent 35 years in corporate. I walked away from that when I realized that when I started practicing Reiki and knew that with Reiki, I could connect with animals. I was working with animals in shelters, sanctuaries. I loved working with my wildlife when I lived at the top of the mountain. But I would use the system of Reiki to share healing energy and to help animals who are going through trauma. And that eventually led into practicing with animals who are approaching end of life. And I still do that now. That is the primary focus of my private practice, is to work with families who have animal companions that have been either diagnosed with a terminal illness, who are approaching end of life, or who have crossed to the other side. And I work with them in all different ways. But what that led to is me understanding that after some of these animal companions had crossed to the other side, that I was still feeling a connection to them. And not just a connection, but I felt that through meditation, I could receive information from them that they wanted their human companion to know. And I love to share that here. I do private readings. I call them readings. I wish there was a different word for all of these things that doesn't make it sound so woo-woo, so supernatural, because it's I wanted to normalize. This is the goal of why I talk about this so openly. I really want to normalize it. And so I'm going to do potato tonight. Potato, tomato. I'm doing potato tonight. I really want to start doing these 3-minute videos. That's the new standard for YouTube, these short little videos. I just haven't gotten to setting it all up yet and getting into a routine. That's what I really need to do, is get into a routine, just like I have with these Monday nights. Episode 55, and we hit 7,000 subscribers, so I'm super stoked about that. And it is, anyhow, So I like to give a shout out to all of my channel members. I like to do extra things like bump you guys right to the front of the line if you would like a little reading. So I do have some information to share tonight for Potato, and also for channel members. So if you are a supporter, a channel member who pays for the monthly subscription, our next Zoom meeting. So we meet once a month live via Zoom so that we can talk to each other. These live streams are great. I love connecting with you guys. I love seeing all the comments. I love sharing my thoughts. I love sharing the thoughts from all of our animal companions. But with a Zoom, we can talk. We can chat back and forth. So I am Thursday. This one's going to be in the evening. I'm trying to switch it up so that different people can attend who might not be able to attend otherwise. This one's going to be Thursday, February 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's oh no, I lied. Lied. I keep thinking I'm in Denver. See, my time zones are all mixed up. Thursday, February 27th. It's going to be 6 p.m. my time, and I am now in the central time zone, so that's 7 o'clock Eastern Time. On Thursday, February 27th, we'll have a Zoom call, and I'll put all the details out in a community post, and that'll go out to everybody who wants to attend for our members. And then I also want to let you guys know, I'm just going through some of the housekeeping stuff before we get into the other stuff, that I have a class starting on Saturday, to which we already have a number of people signed up. A couple of you folks are already signed up. So a little bit uncomfortable. 2 people who I used to work with when I was in corporate have signed up for my class that starts on Saturday. We meet on Saturday mornings. That one is 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We meet for 6 Saturdays starting this Saturday, and it's the Psychic Development class with animals. I call it the Animal Mystic Masterclass. And I'm so comfortable doing this with strangers, but with people I know, it adds a whole different layer of discomfort. So we'll have to work through that. All right, that's the housekeeping for now. There's one more thing, but I'm gonna bring it up as we go along. Because it has to do with the nose print from Potato. Okay, so let's see what we got with the Oracle cards. Pat says, I have just ordered messages from the Rainbow Bridge. Hey, who took that name? It's not. It's a beautiful name, and I'm so glad that other people are getting use of it, because I don't. For all I know, I'm like the 100th person that uses that name for the newsletter. Messages from the Rainbow Bridge Oracle cards by Paula Kefis, found at the website Sacred Vessel Healing. Okay. The answers are specific to your question, to my question. Oh, I think in general you're talking about. So you ask a question and you get a specific answer from the Oracle card, which is wonderful. You know, Oracle cards are a great way for us to receive messages from our animal companions, because we don't trust. Now I do. I completely trust when I am receiving information from the other side. And we're going to talk about the ways that we make those connections and the uniqueness of all of our different connections. I personally like to do it through meditation. Oh, I forgot I had two props I wanted to bring with me tonight, and I left them in the other part of the room. Anywho, I get distracted. Squirrel. Oracle cards. Where was I going with that? Guys, remind me, where was I going with the Oracle cards? Oh, that we don't trust ourselves to receive the information that we're getting from the other side of life. It's normal. It's perfectly natural. There's no judgment there. With the more you practice, the more you begin to trust. At first, I didn't trust. I always used my Oracle cards. I always used my pendulum. I still use automatic writing because I don't like to forget anything. I want to write down and trust everything I receive. So when I receive these messages from the other side, I write down every thought that comes into my brain, everything my senses perceive in my physical environment, and I write it all down, and I share that with the person who I'm doing the little reading for. So it's become very familiar for me now. I'm very comfortable with that. But Oracle cards are a great way to help you develop your own intuition. We're going to cover that in the class that starts on Saturday. One of the sessions is going to be specifically about how we use Oracle cards to access the information that we're looking for. Not just making a connection with our animal companion, but they also give us actual messages. So I'm going to have to check out this deck. If it gives really specific answers to questions, I would love to be able to direct some of my clients to that, because I will do card readings for clients as a way to get information that is unexpected. So when I do a little reading and I'm in meditation and I write down all the information I receive, I still like my clients to be able to ask me a question, and then we can just use the oracle card, or not to ask any question and we just randomly pull an oracle card and see what message comes through. So it is an awesome way to receive information from the other side of life, which we know is all around us. I just had this discussion this past Saturday, had a great introduction to animal Reiki class here in Wisconsin, my very first getting myself established here in a new city. And wow, it was really good. And we did have some long talks about where is the Rainbow Bridge. The Rainbow Bridge is right here in your heart, because the actual Rainbow Bridge is everywhere. It's in the quantum field that flows to, through, and around us. That field of love and infinite possibility. And that's where the information comes from when we're receiving those messages. Okay. So I will have to look into those cards. They sound really interesting. Hi, hello, hello. Oh, 3 feet of snow. Oh my gosh. You guys know that I was in Florida last week. I was in 82-degree weather, sun shining, came back to the Wisconsin area and a foot of snow. Today was -4. And yeah, I am ready. I'm so ready for spring. I'm looking forward to spring. And right around the corner, right? Right around the corner. So I'm so sorry that you were hit with all that snow up there. Hello, hello. Great deck. All right. Oh, look, that was all the questions even before we even began. An animal oracle deck, a dog tarot deck. I love them all. I love them all. I think every single deck has its own soul behind it, has its own different type of messages. There are ones for people who love dogs, ones for people who love horses, others who want to connect with fantastical animals, unicorns and dragons. And there are, like, I love my cards. Oh, I can't reach the second deck. I'm not going to bother, but these cards are my favorite. You guys know this. These are the Angels and Ancestors deck. Oh, what got on them? Oh, I think I've taken them so many places that the little cover is starting to get scratched. Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards by Kyle Gray. I love these. The messages are just so beautiful and so positive. My Sacred Power deck is another one. Wild Mystics is another one. So yeah, I also go with anything that has to do with animals. Then the medicine cards, that's another one that I'm still getting used to those cards, not as familiar with them. All right, so oracle cards are fun, and they're just fun, and they're pretty. And once you get one deck, you have to have 10. Pamela, okay, so yeah, Pamela, please share with us your animal companion's name. If you have an animal companion with you currently, or an animal companion who has transitioned to the other side, please feel free to share about them. We would love to give you a big virtual hug and let you know that you are welcome here in this community. Still not totally comfortable with the thoughts that come through, which is 100% normal. Guys, this did not happen for me overnight. You know this. I've spent years, and then there was a long period of time where I told nobody. I didn't tell a soul. Can you imagine? I just couldn't even imagine what my family was thinking, and they still laugh at me now, what my family was thinking, what my friends were thinking. Did I lose a couple of friends? I did, actually. I lost a couple of friends. I didn't really lose them, but we're just not aligned anymore, and they've taken a different road than I have taken. And I am okay with it. I'm totally okay with it. But then why I suggest that we write everything down is so that you can really start to trust, that you can start to trust that it's not made up. Nothing is made up. All of our thoughts come from this beautiful infinite field that's around us. Our brain is the mechanism to which those thoughts enter. And then, of course, then we can either speak them out loud or not. I keep a lot to myself, not as much as I used to, but I still keep things to myself. But there are thoughts, and we don't have to share with anybody if we don't want to. And you can write them down. And when you go back and look at them years from now or months from now, you just look at them and say, oh, I really should have trusted that when it came through. And you just become a believer. Z, wish it was on Monday night. Not sure I can make it on Thursday. Yeah, the only problem with Mondays, of course, is this. We do the live stream on Mondays, so I can't do the Zoom on Mondays also. And it's okay. Like, I will keep mixing it up. Maybe the March one, I do it once a month, is the Zoom calls for channel members. And I will, maybe the next time it'll be a Sunday afternoon, something like that. So I do try to mix it up so that everybody who is not always available at any given time can join in. Hi, Jody. I'm trying to see where the message was. It says, it sounds like you opened a door for some of your former colleagues. Oh, yeah. Oh, did I say hi to Donna? I think I might have missed Donna. Hello, Donna. Potato, 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 potato. He would roll his eyes. I can't wait to share some of the things that he had to say. Um, so anyway, that's about Monday nights. What was I going back to? She's a subscriber. Her cat Mango transitioned today. I don't think she's here tonight. She could use some love. Oh, we will definitely, absolutely. For any animal companions who cross to the other side, we are with you. We are totally with you. And the other Kathy, hello, good to see you. I thought there was one more comment from someone who I didn't recognize. I see Pamela. Hi, Robbie. Oh, there it is, Patricia. Patricia Valise, another Pat. There you go. So, Pat, please feel free to share your animal companion's name too. We would love to know. We would love to share them all. We talk about all their names. Pat Henry, Logan. We're gonna do another one for Logan. I know coming up soon. There's and I went into my email, read for my pet, and it has finally happened. I've hit the big time. I received a proposal to enter into the holy state of matrimony. I think this all started since I've been wearing my hair down. Whoops, sorry if I give you guys like a bunch of feedback. I just hit the microphone. Yep, I received a proposal of marriage. I received a proposal of just to have a little bit of fun, nothing serious, no long-term relationships. And I just think that's hilarious. So as I'm weeding through all of that, it's what happens. I put an email address out there. It's going to happen. But anyhow, we'll get some more and more of those readings as the weeks go forward. And Logan is right up there at the top, Pat. So we'll do another reading for Logan. So what I would like to talk about tonight, I'm just making sure I've got everyone's up to date with everyone. A friend sent me a video. It was a song I used to sing to Gary. There we go. But played along with a rubber chicken. Ozzy's obsessed with rubber chickens. She had no idea he would sing that song to Gary. Okay. Okay, so we have Luke here. Tammy, how you doing? Good to see you. Patricia says that Luke passed on January 17th, still grieving, but meditating to get my sign. Okay. Patricia, I'm going to talk tonight, and we're going to see if we can help you get a sign, not just a sign, but a message from Luke, who is not actually on the other side, but who, when they transition out of their physical body, they simply transition into the non-physical. We're not taught this. We're not shown this. We're taught. When I think back to the very first funeral that I ever had to go to, a human funeral, when I think back to the very first funeral, what I was taught is what laid the foundation for all future passings. And I was not taught that our beautiful souls. I was taught that if you were good, your soul was flown up to heaven. If you were bad, you were dumped in hell. And that was all there was to it. And if I was raised Catholic, nuns, here, I'll say the nuns. I was raised Catholic. We joke about the nuns. And there was purgatory. So if you were only a little bit bad and you didn't have the key right to the gate to heaven, you had to go into this place called purgatory where you did some penance. And while you were there doing your penance, whatever that is, I don't know, whatever was decided would be your penance, then you can get into heaven. Anywho, what we understand now is that our soul, the thing, the consciousness, the awareness that inhabits a physical body does not die when the body is done. It transitions into this beautiful space of energy, and we have access to it. We have access to it all the time. We can talk to past deceased relatives. We can talk to deceased animals. And when I say deceased, not even the right word, right? Transitioned. Those who have transitioned out of the physical into the non-physical. And their signs, the reason they send signs is to let you know that they're there. And then beyond signs, you can actually communicate. It's a give and take. You can speak to them, they can speak to you. It's a two-way thing. You can continue to have a relationship with your animal companion who has transitioned. And that is the theme of tonight. What came up was I was listening to a podcast by Deepak Chopra. If anyone's ever heard of Deepak Chopra, he's one of the original spiritual gurus. I remember ages ago, my mother-in-law got me our beautiful Nana, Claudia, who used to be a member of our group and has now transitioned to the other side, got me a book long before I understood what I was doing, long before my little awakening. She got me a book from Deepak Chopra, and I thought, okay, okay, this is just over the top. I don't understand, and I don't know what it means, and it's really weird. And I put the book aside. Oh my gosh, now now Nana laughs. She is literally laughing in heaven, just laughing at me, having a good old time, knowing how much she showed me and how much she has taught me without me even knowing it. So I was listening to a podcast by Deepak Chopra, and he gave the analogy of an apple. Now, his podcast was actually about financial abundance, and it was how we manifest financial abundance, and was using the example of an apple. But as he was using the analogy of the apple, I understood, I got a whole different understanding from it about reincarnation. Of all things, what came to me was reincarnation. And beyond reincarnation, it was the fact that each of us is an individual, and each and every one of us has a very unique way of being able to connect with that energy and with the soul of our animal companion on the other side. So I'm going to try to help you guys find that tonight. Find what your unique way is of connecting so that it's easy for you, so that you don't have to try everything. Although trying may be part of the process, you're going to find that thing that actually opens the door for you to have that communication with your animal companion on the other side of life, or anybody, any soul that you would like to connect to, you are able to connect to. This past week, one of my own spiritual gurus who I followed frequently, I was, as always, I'm not in complete agreement with everything that I learned from my teachers. This person was Dr. Robert Gilbert, Dr. Robert J. Gilbert. He was the founder of something called the Vesica Institute. His specialty was sacred geometry and the application of color, geometry, and sound together to create our connection. Not just to create our connection, but to open our own supernatural. So natural, I'm using that word on purpose, not supernatural, like whoa, supernatural. It is 100% natural. We're just not taught how to access it. So anyway, Robert J. Gilbert, who I learned much from in terms of sacred geometry, some of my own meditations, passed away on Tuesday of this past week. And there were a lot of posts about how sad it was, that it was such a loss. He was not very old, so much more to offer the world. That we've lost a good teacher, sadness, tears, holes in our heart, broken heart. And I thought, no, he would not want those messages at all. His message was that he is now integrated. He has integrated with this field and with his higher self. And I can only imagine what he's doing right now. I can only imagine the power and the information and the sharing and the insights that he is offering from his new perspective and his new vantage point. Where was I? Oh, because of the podcast. I can't remember. Anywho, so I had this thought between those two things: the podcast I was listening to, between Robert's passing, Dr. Gilbert's passing, that there is so much more that we are capable of. And I want you guys to be able to do it. I want you to be able, if you would like to reach out to your animal companion, to be able to do it. Or like Sherry has fully embraced this. Sherry, I'm calling you out, girl. Sherry she's very good at receiving messages on behalf of others. So when you don't trust yourself, find a trusted partner. Working in partnership is a great way to not only practice your own abilities, but to receive information from your animal companion. Sometimes we're so close. We talked about this last week. Sometimes we are so close to the emotions and the connection that we have had with our animal companion here and the grief that we're still hanging on to, that it makes it hard for us to connect. So it's nice to have somebody out there who can do that and get you the information and the messages and the signs that you're looking for. Quick check of comments before I keep going. Nana knew the direction. You guys have no idea. You have no idea, because Nana, we've talked about this. Nana was very Catholic, and she's a whole generation older than me, 24 years older than me, 20 some years older than me. So one generation, I would think, older than me. And her the conflict that she had to go through internally from her religious upbringing to what she knew to be true spiritually and energetically, I think she gave me those things because she couldn't do it herself, because she was unsure of her own self. And so she was looking for someone. And I do wish, Nana, that I had embraced it at the time, but everything in its own time. And yes, she knew. She absolutely knew what path I was going to be on. And there's no mistaking it, because now I don't have them on tonight. I have her rings, I have her earrings, I have her necklaces. I have so many things that she had packed away that were beautiful and spiritual in nature, and I love them. Okay, keep on going. Pamela. Okay, let's see what Pamela has to say. People can be strange. Glad you had a laugh. That was yeah, I know. People are funny, and when you get on YouTube, it's to be expected. Yes, yeah. So I could be married now. I mean, I'd have to check in with my husband, but I could be married to somebody else. Pamela says, my Tippy. What a cute name. Tippy was 10 years yesterday, an old Siamese. You found her, and yet she found me, checking my mailbox on a hot summer day. Isn't that amazing how that happens? They seek us out. Pamela, you'll have to watch some videos sometimes, and I'll mention them from time to time. Winston. Winston was only with me for 2.5 years, and he was a senior doggy. He found me. He found me. There was no doubt about it, and became the love of my life. Pamela says, I know the book you're talking about. Oh, for the Deepak Chopra book. Yep. And then NDEs explain the other side of life really well. Near-death experiences. If you guys, I'm sorry, I keep shifting things on my desk. I'm a little too active here tonight. I tell you this all the time. Go watch Next Level Soul, the earlier videos from Next Level Soul, when he interviewed all of the NDEs. He did a lot of near-death experience interviews, and they're amazing. And I know that our animal companions also have near-death experiences. And then there are some people who have out-of-body experiences. I've had one myself that I was very aware of, and it explains a lot. It does explain a lot about where we go, and it validates. You don't have to take it from a stranger, from a person who's just telling you on a video that this is what it is, and you have to believe. I don't want you to take my word for it. Use critical thinking. Go out there and do your own research and check into these things. And NDE videos are a great way to get that understanding. And then Patricia, received my E2 by Pam Grout. Oh yeah, feel it's definitely going to take me exactly where I want to go. Oh, I have to tell you, Pat, Pam Grout is amazing, and she's really personable. I met her in person. I sent her an email once. She started following me on all my social media, and she's just very down to earth. She's really down to earth. She's from Kansas. I'm trying to think of the name of the town in Kansas. I used to know it like the back of my hand, and now I can't remember it. But she's from Kansas, and she's just a really down to earth person who happened to make a $1 million seller with her book E2. And then since she then had E3, she also had one called Jumpstart Your Metabolism. You guys, what the publishing world does, it's called Jumpstart Your Metabolism because they thought people would really get into like weight loss books from a spiritual guru, a weight loss book. It's all about breath work. It's an amazing book about breath work and the different types of breathing that you can do. Fantastic, fantastic book. And then the last one that I really like from her, Thank and Grow Rich. If anybody is familiar with Napoleon Hill and his famous book, Think and Grow Rich, she did a take on it called Thank and Grow Rich, and it's all about gratitude. And then she mentions in it, which another book that I read called The Gratitude Jar, an easy read, and you can read it like in one afternoon, as long as you have a box of tissues with you. I was reading it on an airplane and was like bawling my eyes out on the airplane. Nothing that I could do there. I sat in a puddle of tears. So some good books for your future reading. Okay, let's get back to the topic. And I feel like I shifted my whole desk here. Hang on, like everything went flying. It's not. Okay, hello. I need a videographer. You guys, who's experienced at this? Holy, I might have to hold my camera the whole rest of the time. All right, I got the camera back. I am like the low-tech woman in a high-tech world. That's me. And when it comes to these videos, I'm gonna have to hold my little desk thing here in place. I knocked the whole thing over. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. We're good. Totally good. The path to connecting with our animal companions on the other side is 100% unique. And I want to guide you through this. I would like to guide you through two activities. The first activity is going to be trying to find out what is your path. What is the thing that gets you into the zone where you're able to receive? Who's laughing at me? Are you guys laughing? Potato was awkward. I can't help but think he was involved. Good. Okay, we'll blame it on Potato. Blame it on Potato. Yeah, it's my desk is not, it's going to tip right over unless I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Hang on, bear with me. 2 sec. Here, I think I got it. No, she doesn't have it at all. Okay. The path to connecting is unique. Every single one of us has a thing that we enjoy doing. And it can be any number of things. I want you to start thinking about this right now because we're going to do one thing I'm going to ask you is to start thinking about what it is that will help you get into that space, that zone where you're actually able to receive information and receive connection and be aware of signs. And also, I want to do something called the If My Pet. And we're going to change the word from if to when. And it's going to be, I called it like the SoulPet exercise, something, I don't know. But it's about reincarnation because this story, this analogy of the apple that I'm going to give you from Deepak Chopra is directly related to reincarnation. But first, I want to get us there. So what is it that is unique to you? Every single animal and every single person has a unique path, a unique nature. And we'll start with the apple about this. Think about an apple. All of the apples. You can walk into the grocery store. There's 100 apples. Of those apples, not one single apple is the same. You won't ever find an apple that's the same as any other apple. And not only that, we know what apples are, but there's a bazillion different varieties of apples. There are so many different, we keep even coming up with more because we can't get enough of our apples. We create more and more and different, and lady apples, pink lady apples, and Fuji apples, and there's so many different kinds of apples, yet they're all apples, just like us as people. You'll never find any two the same. The other thing about apples that came to me was the fact that an apple is experienced differently by everybody. We know what the smell of an apple is. We know what the taste of an apple is. Some people don't like the skin of an apple. Some people do. We know what happens when we cut the apple in half. We know what the sound of an apple is, the crunch of an apple is. We know what apple is like in a pie. There are so many ways that we recognize an apple. And there are some of us who don't like apples at all. So we would rather have an orange than an apple, just like we might rather have a cat than a dog. So every single living thing is unique. It can never be duplicated. Never be duplicated. This is going to be important when we start to talk about reincarnation. The universe, source, God, Buddha, Allah, whatever label you want to apply to that beautiful divine energy that created us, experiences everything in a unique way. Every single thing. It's not ever going to come back the same. You are not ever going to come back the same. Logan is not ever going to come back the same. Jack is not, and Jax doesn't want to come back at all. Lucy is not, no, Lucy's in here. Winston is not going to come back the same. They're all going to come back in a very, not different way, but there's going to be something unique about their reincarnation. But I'm jumping ahead. So with your unique path, and I'm just consulting my notes here, guys. I did manage to actually print them so I could read them this week. Your journey is, there's no one size fits all method to receiving a sign or to making a connection with your animal on the other side. I love to meditate. I love to put on my head. I was going to bring out my headphones. I was going to bring in my sleep mask. I love to put on a sleep mask. I love to wear my headphones, and I love to be in a completely dark, quiet space. And sometimes it's not totally dark. I might have a candle lit. I might have some of my pretty lights lit, but I like to be in a place that's completely quiet where I can listen to a very specific meditation audio, and I close my eyes and I ask her, and it works for me. It just works for me. If I happen to be walking in nature, that works for me easily. If I'm walking anywhere in nature at all, especially near trees, I meant to look up the pheromone that comes out of trees. I forget it now if anybody remembers what that is. but trees give off a very specific hormone. Can't remember the name of it for the life of me. But that's why walking in nature is so impactful, because we breathe that in. So those things work for me. They get me in that zone. Or like when we talked, I don't see Beardy's human here tonight, but when I was rocking on the train and got into that space that was like half awake, half asleep, and you're dozing, and all of a sudden I knew that I was receiving messages. That's what works for me. It doesn't have to work that way for you. If it does, that's great, and you go with it. And you can always, for anybody who thinks that that's the way that they're going to connect with their animal companion, and you want to reach out to me, go ahead and let me know, and I'll be happy to like give you suggestions for the ways that I found to quiet my mind, because that's the hardest thing, is going into this quiet space and then not having all of those external thoughts, all of those things that are always going on in the back of our mind right now. Like all of you, I know every single one of you on here has a thought going on in their back of in the back of their mind. It could be about the 3 feet of snow. It could be about anything at all, that little chattery voice that never seems to stop. But the way that I can quiet that voice is by saying that this time, nothing is more important. There isn't a thing in this whole wide world more important than me making this connection right now. And that seems to like quiet my voice. But what is yours? So think about this. What do you like to do? Do you like to run? Maybe you're a runner, right? I mean, runners say that often. They get into the zone, they get into it, they get into a rhythm, they start running, and sometimes it's running in nature, and it really gets them into a zone. Do you like to color? My daughter loves to color. She can take a Zentangle and her pencils and begin to color, and she's gone. She's lost. There's no sense of time. There's no sense of space. She is just pulled directly into that drawing, and that gets her into the space. What else? Cooking, I thought of as an example. For my mom, it would be vacuuming. Can you imagine? But it would be vacuuming. It comforted her, calmed her, quieted her mind, allowed her to get into a space where nothing else was there. What are some other things, guys? What are some other things people like to do? Art, creating music, listening to music, drawing. What are some other things I wrote down here? Right. Oh, dancing, breath work. If anybody's done breath work, going to the gym. There are 100 different things. There are thousands of different things. What is your one thing that gets you into the zone? And by the zone, I mean that place where everything else just seems to fall away and you are centered and grounded and connected, like feeling that connection to everything. I'm going to just check comments real here because I see them. Gardening. Yes, yes. Gardening. Definitely. Skiing. Fantastic one. Fantastic one. Skiing, gardening. Great minds. Yeah, right. Yeah. Great minds think alike. Those are all can you imagine being out gardening, just in the beautiful earth, being part of the earth and feeling that connection? For some people, it might be sitting on the beach, watching a sunset, watching a sunrise. It doesn't have to be anything complicated, but you want to be in a place. So you might want to give that some thought. I would recommend giving it some thought. And if you have yet to find what that is, you're not 100% certain, then you play with it. Play with what you think would get you into the zone. And you might say, but I'm not sure I have the time to do that. There's so many obligations. That's why you have to set that kind of mental perspective, that nothing else is important. Find that 15 minutes of time and tell yourself that it's for you. It's for you and your animal companion. That 15 minutes of time, nothing else is important. It's all yours. And you and your animal companion can then do whatever that is. Play, go outside. Even if you don't know what like a little hobby is, or something that you like to do, then walk in nature. Walk in nature and let the trees help you, because they will. There's consciousness in every living thing, including plant consciousness. Walk among the trees, breathe them, look at them, see them as individuals, see those beautiful plants and all the beautiful plants. I loved when I was in Colorado. I loved the early spring, right around May. Well, in Colorado, it was May, was early spring, when the wildflowers would start to bloom. The wildflowers would bloom, and there'd be 100 varieties of wildflowers. There'd be hummingbirds. It was like the hummingbird capital of the world is Colorado. You just go out and, be with that, and you'll find that your connection will be instantaneous. with the other side. So think about finding your gateway, is what I called it, finding your gateway to connecting with your animal companion on the other side. What's your unique practice? What activity brings you into a space of deep presence and deep connection? That's what we're looking for. Okay, let's check the comments real quick. Walking the dogs. Definitely walking the dogs. When I volunteered for the Humane Society up in Intermountain Humane Society, can't remember, Conifer. It was walking the dogs was so relaxing, so relaxing. Watching the sunrise, beautiful backyard garden, birds, listening to birds, flowers. Okay, all of those things. Whatever gets you into a sense of deep presence and a deep connection, knowing that you are connected to everything. That's when it happens. So, like the apple, no two journeys are the same. And this is a little bit about reincarnation. And then we're going to get, let me check the time. We're good. We're going to get into the reincarnation activity. And I'm going to, so if you don't have a pen and paper, I'm going to encourage you to get a pen and paper. But even if you don't do it tonight, I would do this activity because it's a fun one. So, no two journeys are the same. This was what I got from the story from Deepak Chopra. When that apple, when it falls from the tree, so think about an apple falling from the tree, it lands on the ground. If you've ever been to an apple orchard and there's apples on the ground and they're changing, right? They change. They no longer keep their firmness. They no longer keep their fruitiness. They start to disintegrate. They start to, I'm not sure what the right word is for that. What's the word I'm looking for? But anyway, they're changing. They're changing from one form to another. And what's left is their seeds. And their seeds go into the ground. That seed is still part of that apple. That apple continues. Even after it has totally lost the physical form that we're used to seeing, the seed is now in the ground. And that seed will germinate. And the potential for that seed to germinate into a new apple tree. And how many seeds are in one apple? And think of all those apples all over the ground. A seed falls into the ground. It has the potential to grow into a beautiful tree full of unique apples. And while they will be apples, they will still be their own unique individual. And that's kind of how I'm looking at reincarnation now. I talk about reincarnation often, and this won't be the last time that we talk about it. Just when I think that I have all the insights that I think that I will ever have, I get something new like this. When our animal companions transition to the other side, people ask, will they reincarnate? And when we talk about reincarnation, I get all the questions. Will they reincarnate? How will I know when they reincarnate? Will I recognize them? Will I miss them? Will they miss me? Will they go reincarnate with somebody else? Do they come back to me? Do they come back as a cat? Do they come back as a mouse? Do they come? All of those questions, irrelevant. And here's why. Because your animal companion is your animal companion. They were always your animal companion before they came into the physical. They were your animal companion here on planet Earth. They will be your animal companion again from the other side. Or if they choose to come back into reincarnating. But they're going to come back. What was the phrase that came to me? It's that reincarnation is not reliving life. Reincarnation is a brand new experience. They're coming back for more. They're not coming back for the same. They're coming back for more. I had better words than that. What are they, Elaine? What are those better words? Animals. Oh, it's not about reliving the past. It's about expansion. They are coming back not just to be your partner again, but they will. They are your partner. They will always be your partner. But they want more. They want more. I know when we talk about reincarnation, and I ask you guys if you want to reincarnate, and how many people go, nope, never happening. Not going to happen. Don't want it. No, thank you. Not coming back to this show again. But in reality, when we go to the other side, when we transition to the non-physical, we can make different decisions. If we have lived all these lives and we take all of this knowledge with us, we are expanding with every single moment that we are alive, but our consciousness never ends. It's just always expanding. So when we transition to the other side, we have choices and we have a whole different set. There's no rules as we've talked about so often. There's no rules. And our animal companions are the same way. So they're like, you can have the conversation with your animal companion that it's time, that you are ready to take up your relationship again. Would they please come back into the physical? And then you decide what that's going to look like. And you can help them and they can help you. And here is how it works. And I'm going to get to the comments in a second because I get, again, please don't take my word for it. This is my perspective. Everything I share with you is what has come to me from sharing space with animals who have crossed to the other side now for years and hundreds. I've lost track. I should probably sit down and write a book one day of all the animals that I've ever connected with. But this is the insight that they give to me. So the activity that I thought is, hang on, let me go to my next page. Soul exploration exercise. This would be when you write at the top of your paper. So take out your beautiful pen. I'm calling it your SoulPet journal. I'm working on an actual SoulPet journal that I'll put into the little store, but I'm not there yet. It can be just any old piece of paper. It doesn't, I mean, wherever you want to write this, but I would write it someplace where you're going to have it so that you can go back and reflect on it and remember it. And instead of writing at the top of your page, if my pet returns, I want you to write when my animal companion returns. And then I want you to play with that. What would it look like? When your animal companion comes back into the physical, play with it. What adventures do you think they'd want to go on? And you can trust yourself to write these things. Whatever comes into your mind is real. I would sit down. Now, I know from my own meditation that Jack has shared with me, just in the sense of feeling and knowing, that he has returned to source, that he was an old soul who's lived many lives, and he would prefer to become part of the beautiful soup of souls. I think that's what Abraham Hicks calls it, the beautiful soup. He has gone back there, and I respect that, and I would not ever ask him to come back if I got the sense that he didn't want that. Lucy, when she crossed, that was what opened the doors for me, because when she crossed, she didn't go anywhere. She passed into my heart, not out the other side, not anywhere, but right here inside of me. I knew it from the minute she passed, the second that she passed. But Winston, I might ask Winston to come back. Winston, my beautiful little companion. So I might write, Winston, if you came back, what would you like to do? What didn't you get to do? Winston was deaf. Winston could not hear. He was completely deaf. So I would think, oh, Winston would love to, I know, he would love for me to take him to the beach. And he would just love to chase the birds, those little tiny birds that hop on the beach. Have you ever seen those? They just scuttle with the waves back and forth. I would just let him chase them all over. And I'm going to write this on my page. When Winston returns, we're going to go to the beach, and I'm going to let him chase the birds. He is the first thing, when I know that it's Winston who's back with me, the first thing I'm going to do is give him a cheeseburger, because that was the first food that I ever gave him, was a cheeseburger. He's going to remember it's me because that cheeseburger, and he's going to know, and he's going to look into my eyes. And this time he doesn't want to be a small dog. He doesn't want to be a small dog. He had lots of hair. He was a very hairy small dog. He had hair growing out between his paws. He had hair everywhere. His tail, he was a bunch of hair. So he does not want to come back like that. He wants to come back as something a little bit different, but he still wants to be his happy-go-lucky self. All of this is just coming to me now as I'm telling you this. That's what I would write on my page. So when you're saying, when Phoebe returns, this is what we're going to do. This is what I want. Phoebe, tell me, what is it you want to do? What did we not get to do when you were together here? What is it that we can do together that will help improve the quality of life for other doggies who might be stuck in a rescue? What can we do together? Did you want to maybe be like a dog who goes to hospice care to work with seniors who are lonely and sad in hospice? Whatever comes into your mind is what you want to write down, and write down everything without expectation. Just play with it. Be curious. Ask your animal companion to share thoughts with you, to give you ideas. And that is what you would write. And you are going to together co-create the reincarnation, knowing that they're not going to come back exactly the same, because it's about expansion. They can't wait for a new experience, but they still want to be with you with you. They're your animal companion. They're not going to head for the next door neighbor. They're going to come right for you. And you create it together. It's a beautiful, wonderful exercise that you co-create is the best word that I can think of. Okay, I'm going to look for questions because as I explain these things, maybe it's more clear in my mind than it is as it comes out my mouth. So let me just check. Creating poetry. Oh, Patricia, that is awesome. Painting, good. I missed those comments earlier. Sitting on your deck with a cup of coffee, looking at the wildlife. Oh, I'm right with you. Backyard garden. I said that. Apples, yes, exactly. Apples, reincarnation. What if you're not going to get another fur baby? Okay, Donna, that is that's a wonderful question, and it's okay. So then you just might not do this, or you might just consider it to think maybe if you don't want to have another fur baby come back into your life. I get it because sometimes it's hard. I did not plan to have Gypsy. You guys know this. I had my 3 seniors, and they all crossed really close to each other. And I was not going to have another animal companion for a while. And then Gypsy found her way into my life. But you might want to ask them what they would still like to do. So if you're not going to have another animal companion, you might want to just sit and create a new life for them if that's what they'd like to do. Or you don't have to do it at all. You can just sit with them and be with them and let them tell you where they are right now, because in this non-physical world, everything is possible. So they might just share with you what they're up to and what their life is like now. I use that term very loosely, what their non-physical life is like. I've asked Tesla to come back to the physical. Now I have 2 cats, well, 5. If you want to get technical, I get it. But they all don't add up to my beautiful baby girl. I guess I'm just a dog person. I get that too. I want you to be. I would invite you to be flexible. Just to be flexible, be easy with it. Know that animals, again, just like Gypsy, I'll use Gypsy as the example. I had no intention of another animal companion coming into my life, let alone another special needs companion. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Sometimes it's nice to let the universe figure things out for you. When we don't have to figure it all out. We can play these games. We can do these little exercises. We can have fun with these activities, knowing that there's our higher part of us that's out in this universe beyond just our physical body, that there's things greater than us taking care of us, that we have guardian angels, that our animal companions on the other side are still watching over us, and we can trust them that they will lead us in the right direction, and trust that there's somebody who's got our back, who's on the other side. Can a dog come back as a cat or vice versa? Juliana, Julie, hey girl, it's good to see you. It's been a long time. It is, and you better be the same Julie Raviola, or hey, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's good to see you. Yes, we can all do anything that we want. A cat can go back as a dog. An apple can come. Would an apple come back as an orange? No. So I let that be stretching the analogy a little bit. But our animal companions are wildly flexible. They have so much at their disposal from the other side that if you invited them to come back as a cat, they would. Or if they decided, like if you didn't play this game and you didn't co-create that you are aware of, sometimes you subconsciously co-create, and all of a sudden a cat showed up at your door and you looked into that cat's eyes and went, I think that I see my dog. Then you just go with it. And because the answer is yes, they have the ability to reincarnate into any way that they choose, as do we. I'm coming back as the hawk. You know that. Jody, watch out. Okay. Explain the ones in your heart, because Luke was lying right on my heart when he passed. Okay, Patricia, what happened with Lucy was completely unexpected, and I did not know it would happen like this. Lucy we assisted in her crossing. She had a really rough, she had 6 months. She had a rough winter, and we thought she was ready to transition. She was not, and I was totally fine with that. And she ended up having a couple really good months, and then she declined very rapidly. And on her final weekend, it was a tough one for her physically, and we knew that it was time. She looked at me with eyes that said, "I can't do this anymore." So I was in the backyard of my veterinarian. And we were all sitting there, myself, my daughter, my veterinarian, and an assistant. And we had Lucy laying across our lap. And when they gave her the medication, I was prepared for what was going to happen. I was prepared for the, I knew, because I've worked with this, I understand how it goes, and I was prepared to just be there for her comfort. I was letting her know it was peaceful, it was calm. She was continuing on her journey. There was nothing to fear, nothing to worry about. These were all the thoughts going through my mind and out my mouth. I spoke them out loud. And when they gave her the final medication, she took only one breath, and it was a huge breath, like a big, big, deep breath. And then she exhaled. And when she exhaled, that exhale went into me. Like her head and heart were on my lap. It went inside me. It didn't pass through me. I didn't feel her, as I did with Jack, go out into this space all around me. I felt her go inside my heart, and she didn't leave. And then that night I had a dream of her as a wolf, and so I had to have that tattooed on my arm. I know you guys can never see that, but maybe someday I'll just post a picture. And that's what I meant by going into my heart. The minute that she did not cross anywhere but inside me, and I feel like she became part of me and I became part of her. I was different from that day forward. There was nothing that was the same. It's making me cry a little bit. There was nothing the same from that day forward. So that's what that meant. Donna. So let's see. Collie says, maybe do a list, but for animals that are in your life, like being a cool auntie. Oh, that's a great one. So there are other animal companions, or you might ask, how can I help animals that are in a shelter or a rescue? Does somebody just need to be walked? Does somebody just need me to go and sit with them? Thanks. Those are great. Those are great suggestions. Hey, Julie. Good. It's good to see you. They are here to stay. I'm sure they will grow on me. Yeah, yep. I know. I have had cat. I'm more of a dog person myself, but I've had a couple cats, and they just have a way of. Cats are very self-aware. They're very self-aware, and they know just who they need for what they need. So, yep, trust that they'll grow on you. Pamela, watching cardinals in the morning in the backyard. Oh yeah, that's another beautiful way. And cardinals, of course, have sometimes a very special meaning, that they are willing participants. That's what cardinals are. Cardinals are very willing to be channels for souls on the other side. That's why so many people see cardinals when their loved ones cross, whether it is a person or an animal companion, because cardinals are willing participants, and they want to show us. They allow themselves to be, I don't want to say to be used, but that's not the right word. They allow themselves to be channels for souls to come through. That happened to me. Felt Luke was right in my heart. Yep, Patricia, that's exact. I mean, there's no other description for it, and it's not. And if people don't experience that, there's nothing wrong with it. I was shocked. It did not. It was not what I expected when she crossed. But I was forever changed, and I won't. It's a memory that I take with me forever and ever. Okay, so that is my activity for this evening. Just to talk about, it personalizes and individualizes the fact that our healing is unique and individual, that our connections to animals are unique and individual. And don't stress about how we connect with animals on the other side. You can watch 100 different teachers and 100 different videos that will all tell you have to do this, that, or the other thing. It's you. You are able to do this. You are directly connected. Our society, our culture teaches us that it's not so. If we can learn to set that aside and trust that we are connected, it becomes the most natural thing in the world. And if you would like some assistance with that, start joining me this Saturday. I do this class a couple times a year. I call it the Animal Mystic Masterclass. Julie, I think you've been in it. It is where I help you to normalize your natural psychic ability. The word psychic is the pits, if we had a different word, your natural abilities beyond your usual five senses. I teach you. We meet for 6 Saturdays, and every single Saturday, we take a new thing that we use to learn to express ourselves, including mediumship, which is connecting with animals who have crossed to the other side. So feel free to join us. I think I posted the link. If not, I'll repost it again. It's in the I think they call it posts now. It used to be called community, and now it's called posts. But there's still plenty of space in that class. So let's see. Other comments. Wonderful to see you. Hoping to take another one of our classes soon. Yeah, I'd love to see you back, Aunt Julie. I would love to see you back. I missed you. Love tonight. Going to catch up. Think I'm ready for the class. Oh, the class that I'm teaching, there's no experience needed whatsoever. None whatsoever. There's two of my prior coworkers going to be in that class who I know have no experience with this. So don't worry. There's no experience required. And I always say no experience required, just an open heart and an open mind. That's all you need. And then I will guide you through the rest. So yeah, if you want to join, please, you are welcome to join us. Okay, let's do the reading for Potato. Potatoes notes, I did do my automatic writing. For those new to the channel, I do automatic writing. I just use a notebook and I use my Bic pen. And this is my connection to the other side. It's a magic Bic pen. I have a box of them. And I just write, whatever comes through. So Potato, what did Potato have to say today? Potato, mishmash. Like the first thing that came up was mishmash. Potato, mishmash. And then when I looked directly at Potato's picture, hoagie came up. I had a client who looked just like Potato, and his name was Hoagie, and they looked identical. So I had to share the name Hoagie because it's the same thing. Hoagie was named Hoagie because he was a mix of everything. He was just and a hoagie in the Philly world, where I'm originally born and raised, is all kinds of meats on a piece of bread. But regardless, hoagie came up, and mishmash. And then Potato started to snort. So I don't know if there was any snorting involved with Potato, but I heard it very distinctly. There was like a laughing kind of snort, only a snort. It was definitely nasal. And laughing, laugh. And he's asking you to laugh. Please laugh with him. Laugh. There's something funny that he used to do that used to give you fits of laughter, and he wants you to laugh with him again. Yeah, and then he said, "Don't make me haunt you." like he was saying that like in a funny way, like don't make me come get you. You know what you need to do to connect with me. Don't make me come show you how to connect with me. So he wants to connect with you very much. He is sending you signs all the time. I don't know how to say this other than what I smelled when he farted. It was a very strong smell. So when I do these readings, you guys, I quiet my mind. I ask to connect. I look at a picture of your animal companion, and I look straight into their eyes if possible. And I just get a sense of who they are, and I begin to write the messages that come through. Laughter, the snorting that came through. And then with my physical senses, I look at the environment around me. I take in things that are unusual. He farted so so smelly. I mean, as only a dog can do. And that's also one of the signs that he sends to you. So I would love to know if you ever, if it comes at you at the oddest time and oddest place. There was no other dog here with me. I was sitting in this room all by myself when that pleasant aroma came about. I'm just gonna. Okay, you guys keep. LOL. He was so tan, yet the stories. I can smell it. Ghost farts. That's funny. Ghost farts. That's good. I'm gonna write that one down. Okay, we're gonna keep going. That nose. Why did I write that down? That nose. That nose. There was something about his nose, but that's all I wrote was that nose. He is a happy boy. He is incredibly smart. So there's things that he can help you with right now. And part of what he's saying was, he told me to tell you to stay the course. That you've been thinking of something and you've been thinking of throwing in the towel. Don't do it. That specifically, don't do it. He is so smart and he can help you. So whatever it is, I have no idea what that is, or if it even makes any sense to you. He is telling you to reach out to him with whatever the problem is. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. Whatever you're looking for, there's something missing. You're trying to find something. Like it would be like me trying to find a videographer, or me trying to find out how to use technology. And instead of throwing up my hands and saying, I'm not doing another one of these videos because I have to hold on to my desk and my camera the whole night, and I'm just not going to do it anymore. No, that's the kind of example that he's giving me right now. Whatever it is, he can help you find the solution for. You're thinking of throwing the towel. Don't do it. Oh, the nose. That's what he wanted me to share with you also. That drawing that you did of the nose. You sent me a drawing that you created. Tell me if I'm wrong, but you drew that for somebody else, for their animal companion. It was incredible. It was for those of you who can't see this. I got sent pictures, and one of them was a drawing of a dog's nose. And normally what I can do is I look into the eyes of the pictures that I receive, and I'm able to connect that way. I could connect through that nose. And I know that it wasn't Potato. That dog I felt immediately connected with just through the drawing of the nose. And Potato is saying that that is a gift, that you have a gift that you can offer to other people by doing those drawings. And I'm just going to share right now. This was inspired from Potato, that I should create a small network. I can't see myself as like this person who collects a big network, but I can create a small network. Part of my work is as an animal chaplain, and as an animal Reiki master, I help people whose animals are approaching end of life, and when they cross. What a beautiful gift that you can offer, to be able to offer that to a person. That nose is so unique. The beautiful drawing is so special and can be such a beautiful gift to someone whose animal companion is crossing to the other side. So that maybe that's something to consider. Maybe that's the thing that you were not sure that you're supposed to do, or that you're not sure how you go about it. But that was the message that came through from Potato. Oh, last thing. The last thing, I knew there was one more thing. He was not ever aloof. I think that you used in your email, you said that he was more aloof with you than perhaps Gary was. And he says, aloof is not the right word, that he was content and comfortable and at ease with you. And just like two friends who can sit together in a room and not have to say a word, who can sit together enjoying a cup of coffee and not have to say a word. That's how he thought and thinks of your relationship. And that's our little message for Potato tonight. Let me just see if there's other comments. Hi, Anne. How are you? I don't know. I have trouble sometimes getting on the lives. Oh, I'm sorry. I know. You're asking the wrong person. This techie stuff, I don't know why. And NDD, there's nothing. Yeah, ND, there's nothing like it. If you've actually experienced like a near-death experience, and that's all they can be, is near, because if you actually like stayed there, then nobody would know that you had a near-death experience. I just can't imagine. I had an out-of-body experience when I was a young girl that has stuck with me forever. But I didn't get to the point of like a near-death experience. It was just I had a pretty significant fall and kind of popped out of my body when my little body hit the ground. Okay, it does make sense in multiple ways. Okay, good. Yes, I drew it. Okay, I would love to be able to do that for people. See, this is when these messages come through like this. I almost didn't say that. That I should create a small network of people who do these things, so that I can refer people and say, I know a woman who does beautiful drawings of pet noses, as memorials for beautiful animal companions. All right, so I'm going to put that together. I'm going to figure out a way, and I will ask Potato to assist, finding a way for not just you, but for anybody who wants to participate with that. Who has a gift that they might be able to offer. I would love to be able to offer that kind of resource. Oh, Tato, such a good boy. Oh, yes. Hi, Ocean Lee. How are you? Okay, well, you have a gift, my dear, if you drew that nose, because I could sense, without looking at eyes, with just looking at that nose, I got a sense of that doggy. Okay, my friends, that kind of wraps things up for tonight. I thank you for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you guys again next week. And between now and then, if you want to join the class on Saturday, I'll post another link for everybody. And I would love to see you there. It would be fun to have everybody. We do meet on Zoom, and it would be love to have everybody. I would love to have everybody in a place where we can like chit chat, and we meet once a week, developing our natural abilities outside of our five senses, and that includes connecting with animals on the other side. Have a beautiful night. Have a beautiful week. Take care, and may animals light your way. Thanks, everybody.